Hey, how you doing? This is Adam Post, publisher of more than 1,000 comic books and marketing expert covering Disney. Disney is on a woke path to ruin. Their cable business is now also broken as of this past Friday, and their stock has been plunging. Friday's stock drop for Disney was another terrible defeat for Disney. This is the worst situation Disney has ever been in, and this negotiation with their number 2 customer, Charter Communications, for their cable business should not be out in the open. You're going to see more and more articles talking about the changes in the cable industry happening absolutely right now. All of us were anticipating this maybe in 3 years or 5 years, but it's happening right now, and it's incredibly damaging to Disney, but also other entertainment companies. Let's get into the story. Before we do, please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications. Give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate you guys. Disney stock is down to $81.64. It could go up a little bit in the future, maybe a couple of dollars here and there, but it really looks like it's going to completely tank. The cable business is absolutely necessary to the company. I can't stress this enough. It's so many billions of dollars in revenue, but it's not just that. They have a whole overhead built. They have thousands and thousands of employees, people making good money to produce content for their cable services, and now their revenues are not going to be what they expected them to be. So whatever the profit margin really actually is for the cable businesses, the linear television, it's not going to be sustainable compared to the overhead. This is like severely bad for Disney. On top of that, they have been woke as they could possibly be. Disney as a family-friendly brand was unmatched up until the last couple of years. You could not compete with Disney on a family-friendly basis. No one had the history. No one had the library. No one had the relationships. Disney's level of, quote, magic was unmatchable. It really, really was. Marvel was a great franchise before they got bought by Disney and changed into something else. There are other franchises that were good, but family friendly with respect to if you have children and you are parents, you could trust Disney. You could buy the merchandise. You could watch the movies. You could bring them to the theme parks. You knew what you were getting. Nobody had the family-friendly market like Disney had. They threw that all away. This is not something you could ever have contemplated before the woke agenda interfered with all politics, all media, all teaching in schools. It's not even something you could calculate because you could always assume that businesses knew how to make money and they would never jeopardize the things that really could potentially make them money. People are motivated in a capitalist system to make money, but not anymore at Disney and not at some other companies with other kinds of agendas. I'm going to tell you this right now, and I don't give financial advice on this channel. Something is so deeply wrong with Disney that any financial investment in Disney is not sensible. If you're invested in the woke agenda, you can't pick a better company to work with. But if you're invested in, I want to see a return on investment, everything Disney has is not worth getting anywhere near. This is coming from Fox News. Disney is on a woke path to ruin. Even Snow White actress hates her own story. Family-friendly films are gone. Disney Plus lost $512 million, and Disney stock has plummeted. This is also really not accurate. Disney Plus did lose $512 million, but they're also not accounting for the $2.4 billion charge, which is a one-time loss, but it still is a loss that happened in the past quarter, which really says that they lost $2.9 billion. It's not just $512 million. And that is for the content that they took off the services because they said, really, there was no interest in these services and they shouldn't have spent the money making the content. How much is Disney willing to sacrifice to the cult of woke? Earlier this month, Disney announced it is continuing to lose massive sums of money, $512 million plus the $2.4 billion charge in the most recent quarter on its streaming service, Disney Plus. This is collectively way more than $11 billion. I don't even know what it adds up to. It's over $13 billion at this point, lost on the absolutely poorly run Disney Plus streaming service. Disney stock is down 56% from their March 2021 high, and their one revenue-producing asset, the amusement parks, saw a downturn in attendance this summer. To combat this, Disney has not gone back to basics and focused on the family-friendly entertainment that made it an amusement behemoth. No, it's continued down its woke path to ruin, making sure to leave nothing in its wake. Rachel Zegler, who will be starring in a live-action remake of the classic Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, slated to be released next year, has been on a promotional tour talking about how much she hates Snow White. Zegler has criticized the relationship between Snow White and the prince in the original movie. Quote, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with the guy who literally stalks her. Weird. Perhaps Zegler has never read a fairy tale before. Generally, the dashing prince doesn't submit a 5-page letter of consent to the princess in order to wake her from the evil spell she's been put under by a witch. And 1937 is a bit more modern than Snow White's actual origins. It was first published in Grimm's Fairy Tales by the Brothers Grimm in 1812 and possibly based on folk tales from even earlier than that. Zegler finds all of that so weird. And I have comments on my videos whenever I talk about Snow White about how the German people are very insulted and disappointed that they didn't pick someone for Snow White that represents their princess, because this is a story out of Germany. It's a German princess character. They completely disrespected that. Many of Disney's problems stem from the company openly trying to indoctrinate children into leftist thinking. They prominently picked a fight with Florida Governor Ron DeSantis over his parental rights and education bill that stopped inappropriate materials from being taught to kids in kindergarten through 3rd grade. Then a leak of an internal Disney meeting through Zoom showed Disney executives openly discussing how to hide propaganda in their films with what they called on their video, their not-so-secret gay agenda. The Snow White brouhaha, however, goes beyond politics. Disney has long had a core audience who are willing to stick with Disney despite political disagreements. Zegler isn't just pushing the usual woke nonsense that Disney has come to embrace, she's also challenging Disney's history and attacking a beloved classic movie. Her criticisms, of course, can apply to many Disney movies. It isn't just Snow White that's saved by True Love's kiss. Cinderella, Beauty and the Beast, Sleeping Beauty, and others will have to be discarded if Zegler's perspective is the prevailing one. It doesn't help that the rewrite also scraps the dwarves in favor of magical creatures of various physical descriptions. Disney fans might have been okay with the change, but not when it accompanies the lead actress trashing the original film. Disney fan site, quote, Inside the Magic, noted that the changes have ruined the film's charm. Because Disney has shoehorned their first princess to fit a clunky girl boss narrative, they've stripped away all the bits and bobs that make the story magical. With no love story, no whimsical wonder, and no dwarves, is it even Snow White anymore? The answer is no. David Hand, the son of the original film's director, has said the remake is insulting to his father's work. And of course, he's completely correct. Disney executives haven't listened to conservatives and moderates who have told them that they are destroying a beloved company. They haven't heard the pleas of parents to stop producing content meant to indoctrinate instead of entertain. Snow White will be a test whether they listen to their superfans or whether ideology will continue to trump profit for the company. Disney absolutely is not listening to their customers. They're not listening to their fans. The only conclusion I can possibly come up with is that the idea is to completely destroy that family-friendly brand, to make it so that you cannot find family-friendly content so other content can be introduced to children and families. I just can't find any other solution. Obviously, money is not an issue. They're not concerned with the stock. They're not concerned with people losing money as an investment. They all personally, if they're executives at Disney, seem to have enough money that they're not concerned if the stock goes up or down, and they know no one's getting fired over the stock going down. The purpose is very similar to Bud Light: destroy an American brand. Even more seriously than Bud Light, Disney was a family-friendly brand that promoted normal family values. Disney does not want that to exist anymore, and they were the key proponent of that family-friendly environment. They will not allow that to exist. They will destroy that from their company, and then whatever is left over is what Disney is going to be. In the meantime, in particular, just this past Friday, this dispute with Charter Communications, which is 26% owned by John Malone's Liberty Media. He's a competitor and owns a substantial stake in Warner Brothers Discovery. That dispute is absolutely huge. I can't say how big it is. I can't overstate how serious it is, because it means the end of the normal economics of the linear TV and cable business. That has changed now completely. Disney has not been paying attention to any of these serious issues. Everything has just been delay and buying time and fighting with Florida over their ridiculous dispute over what the people of Florida want for their own children and their own families and from their own government that's elected in office. Disney's been fighting with that. This dispute with Charter should not be public. We are seeing things in the public now, and you're going to see more and more articles, especially this coming week, about how this is changing the business forever, not just for Disney, not just for Charter, but for all content and cable companies in the industry. In fact, this just came out today in Variety. Charter's demands on Disney could soon pressure rivals like Fox, NBCU, Paramount, and Warner. They are going to pressure them because Charter said on Friday, this is not just for Disney. They want a new deal with all of the cable content providers. This changes the industry forever, but this shouldn't have been made public. There shouldn't be a public dispute about this. If Disney was paying attention, they would have resolved whatever this dispute with Charter was going to be behind the scenes, because this affects Disney's relationships with all of their cable customers, not just Charter, which is their number 2 customer, but all of their cable customers, because no one's going to renew on a deal that's not as lucrative as the new adjusted Charter deal, whatever that deal happens to be. And even if Disney manages to survive not doing a really difficult deal with Charter this one time around, which I think they'll get a short-term deal, like maybe a year at prevailing conditions, while they negotiate something else, it's still damaging to Disney long term, because it shows the change in their cable business is happening now. And there is absolutely no reason for their stock to go up. Analysts are going to start picking up on this more so this week. Half of analysts or so were concerned about the value of Disney stock in the future. The other half still have faith in Bob Iger and the Disney brand. There really is no reason to have faith in this company unless all you're interested in is seeing them push a woke agenda and eliminate family-friendly content, which is exactly what they're doing. Let me know what you think of all this in the comments below. Always love to see your ideas. Please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications. Give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you again soon with another video. And if I don't see you, I will miss you.